There are a lot of men trying to figure out how to quit porn. And if you've been struggling with this, you know how you can go a few weeks, sometimes even a few months, and then out of nowhere you fall right back into it? That's not because you're not trying hard enough. It's because most plans focus on managing the urges instead of actually resolving what's causing them. They use more willpower, more distraction, more white-knuckling. But if any of that worked, you wouldn't still be stuck. I'm a licensed therapist, and for the past 15 years, I've worked with hundreds of men who have been caught in this exact cycle. And the men who actually quit porn, they don't fight urges harder, they follow a different kind of plan. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through that plan. It's a 5-step process that helps you to understand and resolve the root of your urges so you can experience real, lasting freedom and not just another reset. Step number 1 is to understand the message the urge is trying to tell you. Most men think that the urge itself is the problem. But what if the urges weren't the problem, but they were a compass pointing you to the solution? For most men, when an urge shows up, that's when the battle begins. They resist it, they distract themselves, they try to think about something else. But here's what completely misses when you do that. Urges are not the problem. They are a signal or a message. Think of a check engine light on your car. When it turns on, you don't cover it up with tape or criticize yourself for being a bad driver. You just recognize that it's pointing to something under the hood that needs your attention. Urges work in the same way. But porn recovery advice often teaches men the emotional version of putting tape over the light. They avoid, they distract, they stay busy, and that's why the same pattern continues to repeat. An urge doesn't show up randomly. It sometimes feels like it does when you don't know what the root of it is. They show up because something deeper is happening. Internally, maybe you feel stress or shame, boredom, loneliness, pressure to perform at work, low self-worth. The urge is trying to tell you that something deeper needs to be resolved. This is why resisting the urge doesn't help. Most men just identify, oh, I feel an urge. But the real breakthrough comes when you slow down and ask, what was I feeling right before this showed up? That's going to help you discover the root of the urge so you can then actually do something about it instead of just trying to escape it. Now, once you identify the root of the urge, that core feeling, the next challenge is what happens after that point. This leads to step number 2, which is to stay in the discomfort. Now, most recovery advice, again, focuses on reacting. They don't help you get clear about why you're having the urge at all. They just say, okay, you feel an urge, go distract yourself, go on a walk, do some push-ups, call a friend. But what if escaping the urge is exactly what keeps it alive? Here's how it normally goes for people. An urge hits, and underneath that urge, there's this surge of discomfort, whether it's anxiety or stress or loneliness. And the brain says, oh, this feels awful, let's get rid of it. And you train yourself to turn to porn as a coping mechanism. That's the old way. You feel this feeling, you react to it, you try to escape it or reset, and then it repeats. But here's the truth that most men don't understand, which is the more you run away from discomfort, the heavier it gets. The more that feeling builds up inside of you, and then you turn to porn and it trains your nervous system that this emotion that you're feeling is overwhelming, and porn is the escape. So the next time that stress or shame does show up, the urge hits even stronger and more intensely. Step number 2 in this plan is where everything starts to shift. Instead of running away from the feeling, you slow things down and you recognize that the urge isn't actually about lust. It's wanting to escape discomfort. So as you sit with it, even if it's just like 30 seconds, you staying present with the feeling tells your body a new story. Yes, this is uncomfortable, but I can handle it. I don't need to escape. I don't need to stuff this down or muscle through it. We can just observe the feeling without reacting. And that's the key. You can't resolve what you're not willing to feel. So sitting with the discomfort is the second step in the plan. And when you stop reacting to it and learn just sitting with it and being with it, you can break the automatic cycle, and this opens up the door to real change. Once you're no longer afraid of uncomfortable feelings, you're finally ready to fix the real problem, which is step number 3. It's to match the right tool to the root cause. This is where traditional approaches completely fall apart. They just offer the same tired approach: journaling, exercising, going outside, put your phone down. But that doesn't take into account the fact that there are different root causes for the urges that you feel. So what if you've been working very hard at all of this, but you're actually trying to solve the wrong problem? The key to freedom is knowing that each root needs a different tool. If the root is stress, then the tool is regulation and relief. If the root is feeling like a failure or unworthy, the tool is to unravel these negative beliefs about yourself and build self-confidence. If the tool is loneliness, then the right step is to reach out for connection. If you mismatch the response and apply a habit-level tool like push-ups with an emotional issue, then the root cause will stay unresolved, which is why the urges keep coming back. Again, it's not because you're not trying hard enough. I once worked with a man who kept slipping at night, and he thought he just lacked willpower. The real issue, though, was that he felt like he was a disappointment at work, at home, in his faith, and he'd been trying to distract himself from the urges by exercising. But no amount of movement rewires the belief that you're not good enough. So instead, we started to challenge those beliefs directly, actively replacing self-criticism with self-compassion. We built routines where he could prove to himself daily that he was showing up, that he was trying, improving, making a difference. And because we addressed the root cause, 3 months later, he sent me an email and he said, "I actually forgot that I used to even struggle with this." It was just so far out of his mind. So to summarize, when you identify the root emotion and then match it with the right tool, the urge starts to fade and eventually disappears because your system no longer needs it. And if you want some help to apply this, I put together a free guide that walks you through this process of how to identify the urges and how to choose the right tool to respond to the urge in real time. And you can download it for free by using the link below in the description. It'll help you to stop guessing and then start responding in a way that actually works. All right, let's jump to step number 4, which is changing the pattern. So far, we've talked about what to do in the moment. And what if you could reduce how often those moments showed up in the first place? That's what step 4 is all about. It's about pattern recognition and changing and interrupting those patterns. Urges do not show up randomly. They follow rhythms: nighttime loneliness, weekend stress, shame from a fight with your wife. And once you spot those patterns, you can actually put a process or a system in place so you can get out ahead of the urges. For example, if late night loneliness is the trigger, you don't just have to brace yourself and hopefully you can push through it. Rather, you create an evening connection routine. If Sunday stress is the pattern, you don't just hope for the best, you build in decompression time throughout the week. One example of this was with a man that I worked with who kept on slipping on Sunday afternoons. It turns out that that's when he evaluated himself for the week, and he always felt like he failed. So we rebuilt how he measured progress and then created a new routine for how to respond to setbacks and failures. As he did that, the Sunday afternoon slips stopped entirely. So the summary is that you don't have to fight urges forever if you just fix the system underneath. Getting good at this one skill can help you see urges days in advance and help you disarm them long before they ever even arrive. Step number 5 is getting real support. This one piece can help accelerate your success with this plan. It's getting support. Because what if the thing that you've been trying to handle alone was never meant to be carried alone? There's this phrase that I like that says that the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety, it's connection. And having connection is what amplifies your success. But there is an unhelpful type of connection and support that we want to avoid. It's like surveillance, where somebody asks you, "Did you slip up or not?" Or it's this guilt-based check-in. Real support means having somebody who understands you, who can process with you how you feel, not just monitor your behavior. Isolation is where the porn cycle grows, but connection is where it starts to unravel. Now, I get it. Sometimes talking about this issue is not the easiest thing in the world. So even just starting with one person can make a huge difference in how you feel, whether it's a therapist, a friend, a family member, a spouse. And so if you haven't ever opened up to somebody about this issue and you've never really talked about what you're going through, I'd love to encourage you to consider finding one person that you can start with. Freedom is not just about self-control, it's about sharing burdens, creating emotional security, and healing in your relationships. So, as you're trying to figure out how to quit porn and how to make that happen this year, and it's totally possible. So, to summarize, as you're trying to figure out how to quit porn and how to make that happen this year, I want to summarize the 5 steps of this plan that I've seen work extremely well, and I've worked with hundreds of men over the past 15 years as a therapist. Step number 1 is to identify the message below the urge. Then it's to sit with the uncomfortable feelings that you have without escaping them. Then match the right tool to the root cause of the urge. Then change the pattern and build in systems and routines that can help you get your needs met. And lastly, it's getting real support. Freedom is not built through willpower. It's built by resolving the root cause. And this plan can help you do that. So if you're tired of resets and you're ready for real change, this is the path forward.